Yo, what is up guys, Mr. Keys here, and today I'll be talking about the 3.0 characters and my thoughts about them overall. Last video I talked about Fugue and how she works, building her, and if she was a valuable pull for your account or not. You can check that video at the top right corner after this video if you like. I also about what Remembrance MC does and mentioned I was going to make a video on it, so here we are. But before getting into it, if you want to stay up to date with more HSR info and 3.x stuff in the future, then sub to the channel and join the Discord community. It's on screen and down in the description below, discord.gg/expresstray. Also like this video if you do enjoy it and it helps you out in any way. And with that being said, let's dive in. So with V2 dropping this past week for the 3.0 characters and then wondering if any changes happened to them, well, none at all. It's just a bunch of rewarded changes as you're seeing on screen right now, and that's really about it. V3 is the one that holds the major changes to these characters' kits of being a buffs or nerfs. I'm hoping that they get buffed in some way, maybe, but I feel like they're pretty much good overall. I'll explain why momentarily though. Then we get V4, which happens after V3, and it's like V2 in terms of getting them with buffs and nerfs, and also some changes of rewarding here and there. But then V5 is the finalized change for all the kits, for all of the characters for 3.0. And if you're wondering, I'm not going to mention any of the characters' kits until it's finalized after the live stream for 3.0 and once that takes place. So I'm just going to throw that out there for now. Alright, so let's start with the Herta first. This is the actual true Herta. This is not the doll, robot looking one, the 4-star version that we all have at E6, maybe S5 or the LC on our accounts. But anyway, with that being said, this is the 5-star version first. So same archetype would be in the same class and elements, and nothing's really changed. But what I was not expecting from her is how good she actually is in terms of her performance. She does really well. Like in terms of just like, you know, pure fiction, that's usually what erudition units are mostly catered towards, right? For that game mode because they hit all the targets. Knowing that she can really just be really good in terms of like an MOC, shoot, even APOC. I would say any game mode. Obviously, when I think of erudition, it's pure fiction. It's just very interesting to see. Jade is her best partner in terms of like any other erudition units on that team, because she does need another erudition unit to get her stacks quick and also just to get her ultimate up pretty quickly because of like, for instance, like Lynch's bunnies for follow-up damage. Jade with her follow-up attack does give her ultimate energy and whatnot, so she could do more damage to get the enhanced skill, and then it does damage on top of that, which is surprisingly really good. So that's like her best in slot partner, which is with Jade. But also you can run, you know, the 4-star Herta, or you can run Himiko as well as sub options as well. And if you don't have Jade, which I know for me, I want to pull for the Herta, but I know I don't have Jade on my account, so that's the only thing I just don't like that I don't have, because the Herta is really good, and I feel like no really changes should really happen to her, but we shall see what happens in V3. So maybe that's because she's also fighting against ice weak enemies. That's probably another thing. That's why she's doing more damage. But I think even without fighting against ice weak enemies, it's pretty good. It's nothing too crazy, but it's pretty good overall. All right, so now Aglaea. Aglaea is pretty interesting in terms of how she plays. I mean, most of it is just waiting to get her ultimate up to be able to use her hands basic attack, but I'll talk about that more in a second. Knowing that this is our first Remembrance 5-star character in the game, being of a limited one in fact, there's rumor that's going around for her that's saying that she might be on the standard banner, which I can see that happening, but I'm gonna say this right now, I say this with a grain of salt, because I say wait until the live stream happens with 3.0 to see if this actually is gonna happen. That's why I've also seen that most people are going to be skipping her because of that, even though she is second phase. So it's like, okay, well, why would I pull for her now if she's going to be, quote unquote, going to be on a standard banner? Then I know for me, I'm going to pull for her still, so I'm not going to really just follow those rumors and trust it, because obviously, you know, stuff like this happens all the time and then it just doesn't come out to be true. So knowing that she's Remembrance and whatnot, if you have a Sunday, this makes it easier for her to be used in terms of gameplay wise. Her gameplay mostly just dedicated around getting her ultimate up, popping it, and then you get her hands basic, and basically you just go to town from there. It's basically just a rinse repeat cycle. Just, you know, hey, I get her ultimate back up, and then I, you know, can go take my turn, and then I do the enhanced basic attack, and then I use Sunday to bring her back up, and then use his ultimate to give her more energy, and then, you know, if you have Hoo on the team, and then you give more energy, more attack, more damage. So like a rinse repeat cycle. It seems kind of brain dead a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but I think I like it overall because it's kind of just fast paced. And then she also reminds me of how Fei Xiao plays in terms of like, you know, she's kind of slow in the beginning, like, you know, ramping up her, like getting her ultimate and whatnot. But once it gets up and running, then you pretty much are good to go. I mean, because she's like fast, she's consistent with her numbers and damage in terms of how facial is as well, especially because of Robin on the team to give her more of attack buff as well. It's basically like facial, but for like the 3.0 X characters coming up. But also, speaking of which, we just got the Game Awards trailer for HSR for 3.0 for Amphoreus, and for the, you know, the Annie character that they showed in the trailer, which is Castoria. So she's gonna be acting as the same. From what we are, you know, speculating is that she's gonna be the Acheron of the 3.x characters that are coming up for the lineup, right? So she's gonna be the same as how Acheron's gonna be played. She's gonna be kind of like slow, but she's gonna be doing a big nuke damage number, like how Acheron's mostly ultimate damage and how she's kind of slow to build up her stacks and whatnot. But once you get the ultimate off, it just goes off and just does so much damage, right? So people comparing how Aglaea and Castoria are gonna be in terms of like, you know, the facial versus Acheron situation again. So I'll talk about that once we get closer to when, you know, her drip marketing does come out for Castoria, and once we get like some info stuff about her more. I'll talk about, you know, comparing between like facial Acheron and Aglaea and Castoria in terms of like, you know, how they play in terms of the damage, and just once we get more info stuff about Castoria, because right now in terms of how she looks, my god, I'm pulling for her. Okay, like she's a must pull. If she's gonna be the new Acheron, I'm pulling for her, okay? Yes, my Acheron might be dead. I don't care, okay? I will still be using Acheron, okay? Because to me, she says, fuck the meta. She just kills everything in my sight, okay? They all die. Anyway, overall, Aglaea, I think she's good, but I feel like she does need some tweaks here and there, but I think she's good overall. So last but not least, we have Remembrance MC, and I would say this character is gonna be very underrated. I think they're really good. I think because of what they can do, they have a lot of potential in terms of, you know, the true damage and whatnot. I think that has a lot of potential to really go crazy. I would say it might be the same case that has what Super Break was, but I hate saying that, knowing the fact that I just said that because of Super Break. You know, I hate it. Anyway, true damage. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this all plays out, because it has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see where this will go. Like in terms of like, you know, the different team comps you could try out with using Remembrance MC. You can use them right now as like a quote-unquote, I'm gonna say a Sunday replacement, but I would say Sunday's still better overall. But they do act as like a mini Bronya in a sense. I would say Sunday, but I just said replacing Sunday. But nothing's gonna replace him. He's just too good. Remembrance MC can, you know, bring up your DPS or whatever with, you know, the summon, and then just, you know, advance it forward, and then, you know, you get it as you're watching it right now. But yeah, they are very underrated. I like them overall. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this all plays out once we move forward in terms of this new damage archetype being true damage, because it's basically, it's like its own thing on top of your original damage, right? It's another thing that gets added to it. So yeah, with that being said, here's a, you know, just a overall my recommendations for both the Herta and Aglaea. So if you want to pull for the Herta, if you have Jade, then pull for her, right? If you don't have Jade, then I would recommend just skipping her, because that's gonna be her best in partner slot. And I feel like I know that Jade's gonna be also be running with the Herta, so knowing that, it's gonna be like, well, damn, I would have to pull 2 characters in one patch. But let's say if I want Aglaea, well, do you have Sunday? If you have Sunday, then you could pull for her. But if you're waiting to get a better DPS for a Remembrance path, then wait for Castoria, because she's gonna be the new Acheron 2.0. Well, the new Acheron for 3.x characters, right? She's gonna be like that type of level of, you know, damage and power. So she's gonna be the hype character, because they did reveal in the Game Awards trailer, you know, they gave her a tease of what her character looks like. She's gonna have a dragon as her summon, which is what people are saying, which is gonna be so fire. I cannot wait to see that in action. And then she's also gonna be wielding a scythe. Oh my god, a scythe? Yeah, you sold me on that. You sold me on the scythe, dragon, and her model. Like, it's kind of like an elf model, but it's also because she has like this Kiana look to her with the color palette and how she's dressed. I will be pulling for her, okay? Will she be E6? I don't know. I'm still deciding in my mind if I want to pull for her E6. I probably will, but holy crap. We'll wait until 3.2 to see what that looks like. And then Remembrance MC, we're obviously getting them for free. Can't really say much about them, so everyone's gonna get them for free. In terms of right now, we'll be getting 3 Eidolons for them, and then we'll get the rest of the 3 from 3.1, and then that's about it. Overall, these characters are pretty good. That's my thoughts about them. Obviously, we're waiting for B3, which is gonna be happening like super soon, because by the time you're watching this, it's probably out. So I'll make a video on it, and we'll talk about it And then yeah. But anyway, if you want to keep the discussion going, then join the Discord community. It's on screen and down in the description below. Discord.gg/expresstrain. And if you want to see more HSR stuff from me, then leave a like on this video and sub to the channel for more content in the future. I appreciate that and thank you for watching this video. My name is Jay, or known as Mr. Keys, and love anime, stay motivated, and live life. Till my next video guys, I'm signing out. Peace.